All right, so I'm going to talk about how to score the quick and easy way to gross score white-tailed deer, because when you're just talking with your buddies or whoever, you're not really talking about the net of your, that's for Boone and Crockett or Pope and Young, or for if you're trying to get your deer into some sort of official record book or something like that, you'll have to have it certified by an official scorer anyways. So this is just for like, if you're at home and you kill a good buck on your property or at your hunting camp, and you're talking with other members, at your deer lease or whatever, about what a buck scored or what you think he scored, or when you actually get your hands on it, if it's bigger or smaller, and you thought, I'm going to go over just kind of the quick and easy way. So get yourself a tape measure, something that's flexible. That's important, because if not, you're going to have a hard time using a tape measure or something like that doesn't bend, because you got to trace the curvature of the horns. But that's okay. If you don't have that, you can just use a piece of string and then lay the string on whatever you're measuring. But I like to have both hands free and have the antlers on something that's holding it still. And the first thing you want to do is you're going to take the tape, start at the burr or the antler, the base antler at 0, and then use your hands to keep it in place along the center line of this antler. So you're going to trace the center line all the way around to the tip. And you kind of want to do everything in 1/8 of an inch. So it's good if your tape measure, this one's marked off in 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch. So this main beam was 21 and 2/8. It's going to sound funny as you're going along, instead of saying 1/4 inch, but keep everything in 1/8. I promise you it'll make your job easier at the end. So you get one of these per side. Then you get 4 mass measurements. The first mass measurement is right here, closest to the burr. And you're going to take one here. You get one in between the brow tine and the first point. You get one here, and you get another one between the last point and the tip. So you get 4 mass measurements, no matter what. If this deer had 20 points, or if it had, this is just an 8 point, you only get 4 mass measurements. And they go in order from the burr out, you get 4 of those. Then you're gonna get each tine. Now don't start, some people start their measurement at the center of the main beam. That's not where you wanna start it. Imagine if you had to cut this tine off flush with the beam, that's where you'd start the tape. If you start all of them at the center of the beam, it's going to give you like an extra inch on every single tine. So start it where it would be, if you could imagine a straight line across. So it's not going to be way up here, but it's also not going to be in the middle of the main beam. It would be where you would imagine a straight line across to be. So same thing, stay on the center line of the tine. Notice I'm doing everything like on the outside of the rack. I'm not measuring it in here. Do everything on the outside of the rack and until you get to the spread. So after you get every tine, then you're going to get the inside spread. Same thing, take it over here, and you want to look at the widest point. Don't do this up here or diagonal or anything like that. Go straight across at the widest point inside, and that's almost 21 inches, 20 and 6/8. So after you get all those, you're gonna do that for both sides. You're gonna do both main beams, 4 circumference measurements on each side and every tine. Then you're gonna add 1 spread. When you get done with that, you'll have your total. And keeping everything in 1/8 of an inch, it's going to add to your total when you get down here at the bottom. So old school edition, get your fractions out, get your kids to help you, whatever. But this deer scored 129 and 3/8. I know he looks bigger than that because he's got all this spread, but the spread only counts 1 time. That's why they say, don't get caught up on spread. This deer had main beams. He had almost 22-inch main beams, and he got to count that 2 times. This deer had just a tremendous amount of tine length. You get credit for all that. So don't get hung up on those big wide deer. They'll fool you. You get them on the ground and you end up having a deer that doesn't even break 130. But this deer is poping young all day. Even though, you know, I'm not out here trying to get him entered into official record books, just for my own knowledge. And, you know, if you're tracking deer on your property, if you're tracking the body weights, scores, a lot of these deer leases require you to keep that stuff on record. It's good, but there you go. That's the easiest way that I know how to get one scored. Get a calculator, piece of pen and paper, and you're gonna get main beam, 4 circumference every time in the spread. So anyways, that'll give you gross score. It's not the net. That's the quickest way to get a gross on a deer.